Hello guys from high mountains. Today's information will be relevant for all those who are engaged in bodybuilding, street workout, crossfit and other sports. And it will be especially relevant for beginners who just starting out and who have a little training experience. It's extremely important for you to know this, because it is the first things to start with. I would also like to mention sports school for children's sports, where children can make disable even without realizing it in a few years. Remember this important formula, which for some reason we weren't taught at school. 220 minus age will be equal to the maximum frequency of your heartbeats, which better never go beyond, especially if you are not a professional athlete. Otherwise, it can be fraught with the very bad consequences. You can break your heart without even noticing it. And now I'll explain why. Our heart has two phases of work like any muscle in our body: systole contraction and diastole relaxation. When we start to exercise too much, our heart rate increases, the number of heartbeats increases. Notice I said increase the number of contractions, because the heart no longer has time to relax. The cycle is broken. Okay, let's say my fist is a working heart. And we have already said, it has two phases, contraction and relaxation. And when we start doing active work, it's contracting faster and faster, and how it starts working. There is no relaxation. And what happens to the muscles in our body? Because our heart also has a serious muscle called myocardium. For example, what happens to the tricep during work when it starts ache, burn, acidify? Metabolites appear in it that lead to hypertrophy of muscle fibers. The triceps grow. The same thing happens to the heart. But it doesn't hurt, and our heart will never give you a signal that it's bad, that it's over, acidify. And it won't say, brother, stop. Because our heart is the most important organ, and our life, our existence depends from it. Even in the process of evolution, it had any limiting mechanism in these directions, then evolution would have destroyed us. Because it will work until its last breath, allows you to do the work that you need to survive. Yeah, sometimes there are super urgent situations where it's important for us to do that. But how many of those situations are in our lives today? Okay, we've dealt with the pain. The heart can't get sick, it can't give any signals right after one run or one set. But it can acidify and grow like a muscle. And that's exactly what happens when there is no relaxation phase. If it happens too often, the heart as well as muscles start to hypertrophy, to grow in thickness. This is so-called dehypertrophy, D-diameter. It grows connective tissue, which doesn't stretch well, doesn't conduct electrical impulses, which is very important. It's an inefficient and defective heart, and most importantly, it can be resolved. Guys, I'm asking you, please forget the workouts that make your heart literally jump out of your chest. Very strong shortness of breath will get your heart rate up very high. In these moments, it's very important to stop, because these statements bear with it, to which we're all used to thinking that it will improve your result, that it will train your respiratory system, that the muscles will grow better from it. All this is not related to these effects. This lot has absolutely no effects on improving your results. And the saddest thing is that thousands of guys in sports school with illiterate training or coaching staff, or people who watch popular personalities, professional bloggers, repeat such super active training, thinking that they will become the same. But in fact, we're all different, and we need to adjust the load to yourself. Many of professional athletes are already handicapped inside, because they are constantly acidifying their heart muscles. As they train very often and regularly at high heart rate. Their heart just become a horse heart, the so-called sports heart. It actually weighs about 900 grams like a horse. You know, it's all overgrown with a connective tissue, and somewhere in there is the last bulwark of hope that pulls this whole powerful body together. So, what are the important conclusions to draw from all this? First of all, it's not necessary to copy stars, bloggers, champion athletes. It's important to let everything pass through yourself and through your own well-being. Understand, these people are most likely genetically and gifted, as well as very trained. Second, don't go beyond your maximum heart rate, which you calculated using the formula that I gave you earlier in this video. And even at this pulse rate, it's acceptable to be very briefly and not often, not more than 30 seconds. And then interrupt the exercise and let the heart calm down. It's very important. Third, don't wear a mask for CrossFit and avoid stuffy rooms. Fourth, avoid frequent stress and nervous tension. Learn to be more cool-blooded and more calmly accept different life situations. But don't keep everything in yourself. Learn to relax and splash your negative energy in the right direction. Fifth, sleep enough time and very good quality sleep. Believe me, these simple tips will save your hearts for a long time. And please, forget about training your heart and respiratory system. Our heart is at the developmental level of a master biathlon athlete from childhood. The problem here is not in the heart. The problem is in insufficient training of our muscle, which in the process of our own activity are so strongly acidified, so strongly saturated the blood with carbon dioxide, that the heart needs to expel it all by increasing the heart rate through the respiratory system. We breathe it all, and that's why there is a respiration, through which all these negative substances are utilized. So we have to train the muscles and the mitochondria, which are able to eliminate the entire level of lactic acids that appears there. Well, those who realize that they didn't do sports properly in childhood and they were driven, or you drove yourself by looking at someone, and we can assume in advance that probably a heart a little bit broken. So a very good prevention for you will be several times a week to do a long work on a high stroke volume, on the maximum stroke volume of the heart. What that means? It doesn't mean fast heart rate again. It means that this volume should get the heart pumping enough to work at its maximum amplitude of motion. That's about 130 beats per minute. But everyone is different. It's again 220 minus h in quotes by multiply 0.7 and you get the pulse, at which you need to work from 40 minutes to 2 hours. Training at this heart rate, you will maintain a good functionality of your heart and useful hypertrophy, which is called L-hypertrophy. Also in parallel, you will give a decompression of your joints and vertebrae. You will make your lymphatic system works more better. That's really important, because cardiovascular disease is the #1 cause of all deaths today, and those who have already a bad heart have a much higher risk. So any kind of prevention like this, it would be very helpful. And all of this information I'm running through myself. I hope it's helpful for you, and if you follow these by 70 to 80% of your training time, you'll probably be fine by now. Thanks for watching, and subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you in the next video.